Just good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Accessibility Awards for this year. My name is Justin Brown. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies tonight. Um, so to start with, if anyone would like access to the live audio description or assistive listening, please approach a staff member on the technical operations table, which I believe is over to my right, Jackie. Yes, nodding, good. So, so there we go. So I believe we'll have a slide explaining the Centre for Accessibility, which will load up now.
Since the internet has come into being, it's really expanded my access to a range of what goes on out there in the big wide world.
Most websites are good, but having access for disabled people is often hidden.
When I look onto something different that I haven't used before, it is quite hard to understand it.
Every website's got things like my attire. It is difficult to find stuff.
If you decide that you want to have a carousel that changes pictures so that my screen reader spits out random stuff while I'm shopping, I'm probably not going to be able to buy your product.
There's heaps of sites, but they just have to be easier to use.
You know, we're a huge section of the public. We're 20% of the population. So if you don't make it accessible, you're missing out on 20%.
Putting a very good text description of anything, a product, or just a picture of something in a news story is really helpful because it gives me the information that I need to know.
For the writing, it needs to be bigger, so you can understand about the language. And also the videos as well, that will make it much easier as well.
I like pictures on websites.
It's very visual for the deaf community. They can understand it better.
Clear and simple, just clear and simple.
You want my cash? You make your website accessible and I'll be there.
This is the best time right now to be a person who's blind. If you follow all of the accessibility guidelines, I'm able to use the website. I'm able to do my banking. I'm able to do my shopping.
And you don't have to go through heaps of books, mate. You can get the information in less than a minute.
We're not that weird, you know. We're not that strange. We got thoughts and hopes and dreams of all people. We want to come into life and be welcomed and included.
With thanks to participants in order of appearance: Helen Errington, Peter Blocky, Julia Hales, Hugo Flavel, Grace King, Kyle Quinn. Accessibility is about more than compliance. It's about people. Centre for Accessibility, accessibility.org.au.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here in person or online at the 2023 Australian Access Awards. As I've said, my name's Justin Brown. I'll be your MC for this evening. Now, Nick Abraham, is Nick here? Nick is going to kindly welcome us to country.
Can you hear me? Yep. Or do I have to raise this up? All good? A little bit? There's our technical stuff. So, Kaya wants you. Gilpin Ginning, non-Gilpin at Woking. Hello and welcome. I'm happy to see you all here this evening. Also happy to be speaking with you this evening. My name is Nick Abraham, and my family connections are Abraham, Bennell, Humphrey, Hume, Rippy, Laurel, and Metal Harris. And we're connected to many parts of our country. Wajak, which is the Wujja we're sitting on here today and standing, but also connected to Ewart, which is to the north of Wajak. Also to Ballalong, which is to the east of Wajak. Also connected to Wilman, which is to the southeast of Wajak. And to Bingerup, which is to the south of Wajak, and Ladani, which is to the south of Bingerup. I'd also take this opportunity to acknowledge my Kura Martin Williams, my wife and in-laws, Boltons and Woods, and they're also connected in the Wilman, which is southeast of Wajak, Kanang, which is south of Wilman, Goring, which is east of Kanang, Menang, which is south of Goring. Also take this opportunity just to acknowledge the other parts of the Noongar Nation, Amagu, which is just north of Ewart, Nagi, which is east of Balalong, Wajiri, which is east of Wilman, Nunga, which is southeast of Kanang, and Bibbulmun, which is further down south. I have a Bibbulmun as a flow throughout Noongar country, and you may hear Noongar people talk interchangeably between Noongar and Bibbulmun. That's because of the ancient and still current connections. Niti Noongar Budget, Niti Noongar Wangi. So this is Noongar country, this is the Noongar language that I'm speaking. Kuranala Pubang, Nana Noongar Born, Noongar Video, Kuranajana, what is your Manjini? Nunukini. So I just acknowledge the country, the ancient language, but also acknowledging the elders past, present, and emerging, but also acknowledging you of being here today. Being here today to give me an opportunity to tell you about the history of this country that you may or may not be aware of. Now, Justin's only given me another 5 minutes to tell you 100,000 plus year history of this country. So hopefully you would walk with me. And the story I'm going to tell you about is not about blame. It is not about shame, but it's about understanding of the country that we're sitting on here today. And I want to bring you into this space. I want to bring you into this space by asking you 3 personal questions that only you can answer. And because they're personal questions, when you answer them as loud as you can in your head, so nobody else can hear you. Either Budja, country, and world, the sky. Have you got that? You got that? Beautiful. First question. Just let the Budja and the world know your name. All good? The next question. Just let the Budja and the world know who's your mob and where you're from. You could have connections here. You could have connections with other parts of WA, other parts of Australia, even other parts of the world. Just let the Budja and the world know who's your mob and where you're from. And depending how much you know your extended family, that may take a while. So I'm going to leave you with that. The next question, the answer to the next question may only come from your core, your heart. And only you can answer this question. And that question is, what's important to you? And I'm going to leave you with that question and your answer as I take you on this journey. So when Noongar people were given our knowledge through the oral tradition, as passed down from our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our mums, our dads, and the Noongar bosses from long, long ago. And when they're telling us these ancient stories, there's something that they're not telling us. And we don't pick up on what they're not telling us until we get a bit more mature. And for your benefit, what they're not telling us is, Mirugini, use your eyes to see. Bwongni, use your ears to listen. Court courage, use your head and your heart to understand. Understand these stories we're telling you about your country, your culture, your people, your values, responsibilities, and purpose. And they break it up into a couple of key little elements that hopefully will help you understand. And the very first thing they teach us about is our moral. Moral is family, mum, dad, nan, pop, uncle, aunties, brothers, sisters, all the extended family, and all the different levels of relationships and responsibilities to each and every one of us, including the Kura Martin Williams, the wife and the in-laws. But was also one of our laws of who we could and couldn't marry. We couldn't marry close bloodlines. We had to keep our genetics strong. And we had a system in place, and we still have that today, of how we maintain that system. And there's a modern word for that system, and it's called eugenics. If I remember on this journey, I'll come back to the word eugenics. Next, the old fellows taught us about our culture. What is culture? I'm going to give you a couple of definitions of what I think culture is. You may agree, and you may even add your own. For me, culture is about values. Culture is also about language. And through that language, it gives you identity and belonging and beliefs and spirituality. So if you think about that, language, identity, belonging, belief, spirituality, there could be a modern word or two for that. Faith or religion. So you know, like many Indigenous cultures all around the world, have their own form of faith or religion through our culture. Next, the old fellows taught us about our Kardigan. Now, Kardigan's our knowledge system, where the old people understood and knew the relationship between the sun, the stars, the moon, the plants, the animals, the water, and the seasons, and how we lived in those environments. If anybody want to learn about the sun and the stars and the moon and the plants and the animals and the environment today, they'd have to go to university and learn about science. My old people have that knowledge available to look after this budget. But it's interesting with science because it was a scientist by the name of Francis Colburn in 1883 first turned the word eugenics to his audience in a place called London. And that was a scientific study around keeping bloodlines pure. Yet my people still have a system in place that maintains it. Next, the old fellows taught us about our fourth word. What is the art? When is the spirit? Bringing them together instead of well-being. And the old people taught us about our foods, our medicines, our sites, our ceremonies, and our social interactions. And they knew when we were out of balance physically and emotionally how to use this system to bring us back into balance. And that was a health system. And the old people taught us that these key elements are connected to our budget, our land, because they knew if we look after country, country would look after us. And this one here represents our British, our elders, because it was their responsibility of overlooking this system and making sure that our laws and our customs were never broken. And that system was functioning on this land for many, many generations. Where the sun would always rise in the east and set in the west. Where the moon would eventually rise in the east and set in the west. And when our old people pass and the leaders pass, they go to the next part of the dreaming, a place called Paramount, which is over the west, where the sun sets. And the only time that ever return is in our dreams and our subconsciousness to give us guidance and support on maintaining our laws and our customs. So that system was functioning for many thousands of generations. Something strange happened in the early 1800s. Some people came down to Durban, Europe, in the country place not far from here that we now know as Elizabeth Bay. In this part of our country was the Muru people, and Yellowbonga was the leader at that particular time. And when these people came, Yellowbonga couldn't make sense of who they were and his camp here. Because they looked pale, they looked different, they spoke differently, and they behaved differently. But they came from that way. So Yellowbonga's only conclusion, they came from that way, because they looked tired, they looked worn, and they looked weathered from the long trip. If they come from that way, that must be his younger ancestors, spiritual people returning. So Yellowbonga done the only thing that he thought was humanly right for him. Being the leader, he had to look after them. So what Yellowbonga had done is given up his camp down here in Elizabeth Key, and he moved to another camp that we know now as Lake Mungo. And he left his younger ancestors, spiritual people, to rest, recover, and return. They rested, they recovered. Did they return? No, they stayed. They stayed and they saw this system. And they ignored this system and imposed new laws and customs on my people. And immediately, everything that was important to us, all of a sudden was illegal and outlawed. And immediately, we had disruptions to our elders and our British and our government system. We had disruptions to our mortal and our families. We had disruption to our language and our culture. We had disruption to our knowledge system, the way we looked after this land. All of a sudden, no disrespect, but all of a sudden, we had no say in how that land was being divvied up. And we had disruption to our portable and our health system because we couldn't get access to our foods, our medicines, our sites, and our ceremonies. Because all of a sudden, again, no disrespect, we were trespassing on Crown land and private properties. And that's when my communities are picking up the pieces of this disconnection and disruption. This disconnection and disruption that I just want to acknowledge happened in many parts of the world long before it arrived here and long after it arrived here. In fact, it's happening in the world today. We only have to look at the morning and evening news to see what's happening in other parts of the world. But I can only talk about the impacts colonization had on my country, my culture, my people, our values, responsibilities and purpose. I'm not wearing it in, not boring one kid in, not more in, not in. So despite all this recent disruption, my people's spirits are still here. Despite all this disruption, our spirit stories are still here. Despite all this disruption, we are still here. Throughout this disruption, many others have come. And when I'm welcoming people to the country, my ancestors will be angry with me if I'm not telling the real history of this country that we work on, we recreate, we recreate, and we call home. And hopefully, the old fellows, our old ancestors, all of our ancestors can help us to understand and open our eyes, open our ears, our head and heart to understand and appreciate what was, what is, but also what could be. What could be. And what could be is tomorrow. Who's got tomorrow in their hands? We have. We have. And part of our shared commonality that we all share, that not too many people can understand. And look at that. And that says we're all human, no matter what part of the world we come from. But unfortunately, my people are still struggling for their acceptance and recognition in our own country. I just want to say, Mama Jim and Alaya, Bodarai and Ginny, so that the old fellows walk with us to keep us safe while we're here on this country tonight. And for all those award winners, and all those nominees well, but also a safe and return trip home. So thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick, for condensing 100,000 years into 5 minutes. If anyone has any concerns about the timeframes for speeches, please direct all complaints to my colleague and friend, Dr. Scott Hollier. And speaking of Scott, Scott is coming up the ramp to the stage. I would also like, as Scott comes up, to pay my respects to the traditional elders in the land in which we meet, particularly in the Whadjuk people of Perth and the Wadani people of the southwest, where Edithtown University has their campuses. Over to you, Scott.
Well, thank you, Justin, and for those very generous remarks earlier. And yes, certainly, if anyone has any issues, you're very welcome to get in touch. I would just like to say that it is absolutely wonderful to be back here again for our 3rd Australian Access Awards. It's wonderful to see so many people here in person. It's wonderful to have so many people here online, and it's wonderful to have air conditioning. I just think it's really important to acknowledge that on a 39-degree day here in Perth. So thank you to Anzac House and the wonderful staff. Thank you for that very important welcome to country. I do also want to thank our very honoured guests, Minister Don Punch and also Senator Jordan Steele-John. The Senator has been to every one of our awards, and I'm very, very grateful for them for his return. So we're back, and tonight is a celebration, but it is also important to acknowledge some of the challenges also for 2023, and I just want to spend a moment on that. So for a lot of people with lived experience of disability, this year has been a difficult year. We've had the Disability Royal Commission, the NDIS review that is in the process now, and a lot of people have had to go through difficult times to share their truth, to aim to get systemic change around the needs for people with disability. And I think it is important to note that 2023, for many, has been a tough year. And so when it came to organising the Access Awards, we did have to consider, do people want to celebrate? Do people want to recognise best practice in digital access, or is this a year where there are other priorities and other things which perhaps take priority? And when we went to look at organising this, we wanted to consult with the community to find out, do people want these awards to happen this year? But as we started the conversation to talk to the community, we actually started having the community contacting us, and we had from the beginning of the year to our nominations, we kept having people with disability coming to us and saying, please, can you make sure that the awards happen? Are the awards happening this year? It's really important to us that these awards happen. And we received calls and emails, and were contacted on socials, and it escalated as we got closer to our call for nominations. And the reason that was made to us is that people said it's so important that we can celebrate best practice, that we can look at organisations and look to the list of organisations like the finalists tonight and say, that is best practice, that is what we want to do. And when people are with organisations that are new to the accessibility journey, to be able to say, look over there, follow that lead, that makes a huge difference to us, was so important. And so at the end of the day, when asked directly, can you make sure that the Access Awards happen again, the only answer we could give is, yes, I can. And someone who can say those words far more eloquently than I can is Tony D, who will be our halftime entertainment. I did get a sneak peek during the sound check, which is awesome. So the halftime entertainment is quite remarkable. So we are back, and it is important to celebrate, and it is a celebration. And despite for 2023 being a difficult year for many, it is an incredibly exciting opportunity, and the community has been extremely supportive of the celebration. So much so that when we did open the call for nominations, we received 122 nominations, which was just shy of the 2019 and 2021 nominations combined. So thank you to the community for recognising excellence. Absolutely. Thank you for recognising excellence and best practice. So there are a heap of thank yous that all make things like tonight possible. So I'll endeavour to say as many as I can in the time I've got. So firstly, to our sponsors, these type of events are certainly would not happen if it wasn't for the great financial support and the incredible support of the values and the importance of this event. Thank you to AbleDocs, Coles, the Office of Digital Government WA. Thank you to the Brave Family Trust of the Fremantle Foundation, who are our silver sponsors. Thank you so much to ADSA, Visibility and Aussie Way as community sponsors. Without you, we just simply would not be here tonight. And when we do go back after the ceremony for more drinks and nibblies, if you do find a sponsor, please thank them very much in person. I also want to thank our 9-member independent judging panel, many of which are here tonight. Some have flown over to be here tonight. As I said, we had a record number of nominations and the judges absolutely burnt the midnight oil, I suspect, and got them all done in time with our record number of nominations. Thank you, judges, for the integrity and independence that you bring to this process. Yes, I think I'll be good plan. Thank you to my staff. Many of my staff have not gone through an awards before. We've grown a bit since 2021. Majority of our staff do have lived experience of disability. So to all the Centre for Accessibility staff, I do promise pastries in the office very soon to say thank you. And I know that you have absolutely slogged it out for the past, well, really since the beginning of the year as we started this journey. So thank you so much to all my staff. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to the board, Chair Marina Ree and the rest of the board. I think it's fair to say that 2023 has been an interesting year, and I am extremely grateful for your governance and oversight, the strategic vision that you have set. It's an honour to implement. So thank you very much to the board. Also, I'd really like to recognise there's always a lot of people behind the scenes in the award. So thank you to Dada, Jackie and the crew who have organised a lot of the technical support, our captioning. Yeah, absolutely. Woo indeed. We have captioning, we have audio description, we have our awesome Auslan interpreters, and Dada is all behind making that happen. So that's hugely grateful to all that support. And also like to thank Media on Mars. We have Claire and Stella here who provide a lot of digital agency support as well. So we have heaps of support. And that support means a lot. So I guess to close, we are very happy to see the return of the Golden Carrot Trophy. And for those who aren't aware why the Golden Carrot, it's really important in digital access that we do things from the carrot's perspective, that we want to celebrate digital access and not the stick. It's not about legal compliance. We do it because it's a great thing to do. But my very important message to all our finalists is that although some people will get trophies and some may not, it really is about recognising the finalists. If your name is read out as an organisation or as an individual, we are here to honour you. You have made an incredible difference and a profound difference to the lives of people with disability. And as someone with a disability, it means a lot that you've spent so much time and so much effort to make sure that you have achieved best practice, that we can celebrate the work you've done tonight. And it really is an honour to be involved in that. So the only final remarks is just to say, have a wonderful night, everyone. And it's a great privilege to be a part of this. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Scott. So I will formally call on the Honourable Don Punch to come up and formally open the awards for this year. So Don Punch is the Minister for Regional Development, Disability Services, Fisheries, Seniors and Ageing, Volunteering, and has been a member of the Legislative Assembly since 2017, representing the seat of Bunbury. Can I please ask everyone to welcome the Honourable Don Punch?
Thank you very much, Dustin, and it's a delight to be welcomed here once again, and a very, very special award tonight. I've been told by Jess, my policy officer, that I have to stick to my points on the speech notes. For those of you who know me, that's a very, very hard ask. But I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we're meeting on, the Wadjuk people, and thank Nick for the welcome to country and for that very condensed potted history of what is a very authentic story of connection with land and with culture and with language. And there is a journey ahead, and it's a journey ahead for both our First Nations people and for all of us as we move together forward. I'd also like to acknowledge Dr. Scott Hollier, CEO and co-founder of the Centre for Accessibility and chair of the Disability Services Commission. And I'm immensely proud and appreciative of the work that Scott does in the Disability Services Commission, guiding us through a transformation that we're all going through in terms of both the NDIS review, the role of the state, the role of the recommendations out of the Royal Commission, and how all of that looks towards the new legislation that we want to bring forward next year or possibly early the following year. So thank you very much for your work, Scott. And I'd also like to, yes, please. It's such a fantastic bloke. And I'd also like to thank acknowledge Marina Ray, the chair of the board for the Centre of Accessibility, Senator Jordan Steele-John, Senator for Western Australia, all of tonight's finalists, sponsors and attendees for your support of these very important awards. And I'd also like to thank and acknowledge our Auslan interpreters for the work that you're doing to assist us this evening. Thank you very, very much. Now, I am going to incur the wrath of Jess and depart very slightly. And it's because I was really inspired by that video that we saw at the beginning and the comment at the end, which was, it's all about people. Now, I have a pretty diverse suite of portfolios: regional development, fishability, seniors and aging, disability, volunteering, and they are all about people. Everything we do at the end of the day is about people, whether it's building a road, building a bridge, looking at how we do buildings, the services we provide. And the important principle behind that we should always be thinking about is inclusion and the role that innovation and digital technology can play is such an important part of that equation. And I was talking with Scott earlier about what does he think will be the most interesting track or trajectory for the future of innovation. And he answered in a nanosecond, artificial intelligence. And it's certainly something that is going to shape the future. So, but it is about people, and we should always remember that in our thinking and in our planning and in our decision making. And on that note, I'm going to return to my notes. So I'm delighted to be here tonight to celebrate the achievements of organisations and individuals who are demonstrating best practice in digital accessibility both nationally and here in Western Australia. And the event has continued to grow in strength since 2019. Seems a long time ago, 2019. And as a Minister for Disability Services, I'm actually really proud of the passion and the commitment and the progressive approach to inclusiveness that the Australian Access Awards demonstrate. And they do take us into new horizons. The awards are a fantastic channel for showcasing outstanding digital accessibility initiatives, highlighting best practice for the greater participation of people with disability. And the quality of resources that are being produced by all 67 finalists who are evidently pioneering in this space is exceptional. And as a fellow Western Australian, I must add that I'm thrilled to see individuals, organisations and government agencies right here in WA among the finalists. Our country is extremely lucky to have innovative organisations that are dedicated to ensuring people with disability can maximise their potential and participate as equal citizens in our community. Digital access is a heart of inclusion, empowering people with disability to participate, make choices, break down barriers. And while there are many great initiatives underway across Australia to improve accessibility, the reality is that too much of the digital world is still inaccessible for many people. The Global Accessibility Awareness Day Foundation's mission is to disrupt the culture of technology, love a bit of disruption, and digital product development to include accessibility as a core requirement. It should be seamless. Everyone here tonight is making significant contributions to the field of accessibility, and it has a potential to make real differences in the lives of millions of people and over 400,000 people here in Western Australia who live with disability. So I'll conclude by emphasising just how significant the Access Awards are for shining a spotlight on digital accessibility. Your contributions are proving that accessibility can be achieved without sacrificing design or usability, and you're all demonstrating best practice examples for many organisations to learn from. I'd like to commend the Centre for Accessibility for continuing to ensure that digital accessibility remains at the forefront of conversation and supports the inclusion of people with disability. Talented, creative, inspiring digital solutions will be celebrated and acknowledged this evening. Congratulations to all the finalists, the winners. Thank you for the innovative work you've done to develop leading resources that are accessible to everyone. The work you are doing is incredibly important, and the ripples of the work that you're doing will spread far and wide. So on that note, it therefore gives me great pleasure to announce the official opening of the 2023 Australian Access Awards. Over to you, Dustin.
Thank you, Minister. Okay, so our next presenter is Melanie O'Brien from Coles. I believe we've got a video to play, and then Melanie will be presenting the first of the awards.
Hello, I'm Ben Haslam, Chief Digital Officer at Coles, and I wish I could be there with you this evening, but I know Mel O'Brien and team is representing Coles. At Coles, we are committed to accessibility and disability inclusion, building disability confidence and providing an inclusive environment for our team members and customers with disability. We are honored to be a team event sponsor for the Australian Access Awards and excited to announce the next award.
Okay, Melanie.
So I'm here to announce the not-for-profit/community award, and the finalists are Kids Wish, Our Pills Talk Medicine, and Nature Play WA. And is there a drum roll?
No drum, sorry.
And the winner is Nature Play WA.
To be what a space to be in whenever leaving. This is just an opportunity to take the work we're doing to everybody, and it's an absolute delight to be here tonight, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, so if I could invite our next presenter up, Nicholas Kapernis, an auditor from CFA Australia, to present the non-profit community website of the year.
Ooh, hello. Thank you so much, Justin, and thank you for having me tonight. I am proud to be here on behalf of CFA Australia to present these awards. Those 3 awards I'll be giving out. So, the second award presented tonight is the not-for-profit community website of the year. This award is sponsored by the Bray Family Trust through the Fremantle Foundation, and the finalists are Friends of St. Peter's Church, Cemetery and Glebe, Gilgaring Incorporated, Maida Foundation, Wesley Mission, Radnor Australia, Australian Men's Shed Association, Muscular Dystrophy Foundation Australia, Owl Watch, Deafblind Information Australia, Beyond Blue, Cancer Council Western Australia, Invisible Illnesses Incorporated, TEDx Hobart, Northern Suburbs Community Legal Centre, and SciTech. And the winner is Deafblind Information Australia.
asked me a couple of hours ago if I had prepared an acceptance speech, and I said, of course not.
But that's okay because it seems about 30 seconds. So
Thank you to the Accessibility Centre for this organising this event, our project team that has made all the work on our website possible, and to our deafblind users who've supported our knowledge growth and development skill. So thank you.
thank you.
Thank you to Deafblind Information Australia. The next award is Government Website of the Year, and the finalists are the Children's Court, City of Melbourne, Logan City Council, City of Boroondara, Art Gallery of Western Australia, Migration Services Western Australia, NDIS Quality and Safeguards Commission, Parramatta Park, Shire of Augusta Margaret River, Department of Local Government, Sport and Cultural Industries, ABC iView, the Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commission, West Australian Government, the Victorian Government, Australian Bureau of Statistics, City of Coburn, Brisbane City Council, City Aviation Safety Authority, Accessibility New South Wales. And the winner is City of Coburn. Woo! Come on down.
Thank you, Centre for Accessibility. We're really proud. We're passionate at the City of Coburn about accessibility. It's been a 7-year journey for us since we developed this existing website. We have a great cross-organisational team who are committed. And the big challenge, as some of you will know if you're at the beginning of the journey, is you can get an accessible website. If you start at the very beginning and get consultancy and help along the way, it's the maintaining it that's hard. And I know we're not perfect. We have hundreds of pages. It's like spaghetti, our website. We keep trying to rein it in, but we have a governance plan around it. Keeping to our governance plan is what's been the measure of our success. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the City of Coburn. The next award is the Government App of the Year. And the finalists are MyGov Services Australia and the National Disability Insurance Agency, NDIA. And the winner is MyGov. Come on down.
And it's a complex piece of work to get our MyGov portal into an app version so that it's accessible for everyone to use. We had extensive testing and usability experts in right from the start, which really helped to make it what it is today. And our vision when designing the website and government services is to make it simple so everyone can actually access everything, and this award helps validate that we're on the right track. So we'll keep plodding along. Thank you, everyone.
thank you to Services Australia.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, thank you, Nicholas. So I'd like to introduce Jonas Pedersen. Jonas is the Chief Digital Officer for the Office of Digital Government, Department of Premier and Cabinet.
Thanks a lot for, for the instructions, I think.
Hi, Jeffy.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. All right, here we go. Thanks a lot for the introduction. And thanks to everyone for coming. And we are really happy to be part of the event. And before I kind of go into the award, I'd also just like to congratulate all the nominees, the winners, and the finalists and the winners, of course. So we are now coming to the Educational Website of the Year award, which is sponsored by us at the Office of Digital Government, which is part of the Department of the Premier and Cabinet. So we are really happy and proud to sponsor the award to showcase the department's commitment to digital inclusion and design of services, online services, so they can be accessed by everyone. The finalists that we have here today all demonstrate the importance of accessible web design and online solution design, which is really aligned with what we try to do with the government's blueprint for digital inclusion, which sets out the approach to improve inclusion across a number of areas. And one of the aims of the blueprint is to address the blockages that design can provide to access to online information as well. So yeah, the different categories or the different nominees that we have tonight all demonstrate excellence in digital accessibility and really demonstrates how important it can be to provide equitable and easily accessible educational solutions. All right, so I think with that, I'm honored to present the finalists for this award, which are TAFE, Macquarie University, Aston Social, Questacon, One Classroom School of Special Education Needs, and La Trobe University. And the winner is One Classroom.
Fancy speech planned, but she's not here to deliver it because she's had to stay home with her daughter who's not well tonight. I'd also like to thank the team here who are part of the One Classroom website. I hope we can honour the themes of the video that we saw at the start, making information clear, simple, accessible and available to everyone. And also I'd like to thank everyone who works with students in Western Australian public schools to create inclusive learning environments. So thanks very much, everyone.
Okay, congratulations to the School of Special Educational Needs Disability, and thank you very much, Jonas, for presenting that award. I'll call up Marina Ray. Marina is the board chair for the Centre for Accessibility Australia. Marina.
Thank you, Justin. And it is absolutely my pleasure to be here tonight and to be part of the award ceremony. And I guess I'd say I probably had the position of board chair of one of the best organisations in Australia. So that's actually my privilege and the great joy of being able to work with Scott. And I know the board think the same. So thank you, Scott. So we're looking at the Educational App of the Year, and the finalists are Sono Kids Australia and Moodle. And the winner is Moodle.
Accessibility is a key part of that vision. We're all about the carrot, and we've been working very hard for about the last 10 plus years to improve and implement WCAG standards across all of our products and our app. And we've been working to provide tools and resources for our users to create accessible content and activities. We're very proud to be a part of this movement that's making Australia and giving Australia a positive difference for Australians and people globally living with disability. And I'd like to thank all of our team at Moodle HQ and our entire open source community for their support and their contribution to Moodle. And this award really belongs to all of our community. So thank you again for this incredible honour.
Thanks, Moodle. We now present the Corporate Website of the Year Award, and that's sponsored by Able Docs. And the finalists are Coles, RAC, the Digital Picnic, Telstra Corporation, Woolworths, My Emergency Doctor, Rooftop Movies, and Grace Papers. And the winner is
we're honoured to accept.
Our commitment to strategic and sustainable growth is reflected in every asset of our website, telstra.com. From the planning stage to production, accessibility is at the forefront of our priorities. Our implementation of an internal design platform with reusable components ensures scalability, allowing us to simultaneously uplift hundreds of pages. This accolade is not just a recognition of our achievements, but is a testament to Telstra's unwavering dedication to continue to make the digital space inclusive for everyone. Thank you to the Centre for Accessibility and everyone who contributed to this remarkable journey. This award belongs to each and every contributor to Telstra.com. Thank you.
and congratulations to Telstra Corporation. We are now moving to the Corporate App of the Year, and the finalists are Big W, Bendigo Bank, Coles, DRN1, Bindi Maps, and the Telstra Corporation. And the winner is Bendigo Bank. Bendigo Bank is not able to be with us this evening.
Hi everyone, Nick Carter. I'm the General Manager of Digital Banking at Bendigo and Adelaide Bank. I'm sorry I can't be there in person to attend this awesome event and accept the award on behalf of the bank, but I would like to say that we are incredibly humbled and grateful for the work that our team have done across the organisation in developing the app that was recognised by the Centre of Accessibility Australia. So thank you very much. We're actually in the process of launching our next accessibility and inclusion plan next week, so the timing's perfect. And this award is really the icing on the cake. So thank you very much for the acknowledgement, and we look forward to sharing this more broadly with our teams. I do also want to thank the Centre for the hard work and advocacy in building out this event and the process that you've undertaken. We as a collective Bendigo and Adelaide Bank look to continue to invest in capability and strive to fulfil our vision or our mission to be Australia's bank of choice. And this is a great acknowledgement for the path we're on at the moment. So have a great evening and look forward to catching up soon. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Marina, for presenting those awards. So now we're at the entertainment part of the evening. Inspired by the likes of Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole and Tony Bennett, Tony D provides us the swinging tunes and gentle love song stylings that will put a smile on your face. So I shall exit stage left and let Tony exit stage, whatever it is for him, and he will present a couple of songs for your entertainment. Thank you.
Yes, I can, suddenly, yes, I can. Gee, I'm afraid to go on as turning to, yes, I can. Take a look, what do you see? 133 pounds of confidence, me. You got the feeling I can do anything, yes, I can. Something that sings in my blood is telling me, yes, I can. I was just born today, I can go all the way, yeah. I can. Yeah, that's right, clap along. Great to be here tonight. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yeah, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Wind me up and watch me fly. A regular sort of sunburned Superman. Are you ready? I can climb Everest. Yes, I can. I can fight here all night and never rest. Yes, I can. I have just found the key, hey, doors swing wide for me. I was just born today, I can go all the way, yeah. I Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic food, there's a bar in Far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down. In Lava Land, there's a one-man band, and the tune is food for you. Come fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we're just starting. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so you may hear angels' tears because we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a lovely thing. Just say the words and leave those words down the Poco Bay. It's for flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we're just starting. Once I get you up there, gonna be holding you so you may gang of angels cheer just because we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a long. You just say those words and leave down to Acapulco Bay. It's for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly. Pack up, let's fly away. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll make it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me, I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of what he is. The record shows I took the blow and did it more. I did it my
Thank you. Can we just give another round of applause for the amazing Tony D, all the way from Bris Vegas. Okay, so I'd like to introduce Letitia Thompson. Letitia works for the Centre for Accessibility Australia, and she'll be coming up to present a couple of awards.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you to the Centre for Accessibility Australia for inviting me to present the next two awards. Firstly, I stand before you today to shine a spotlight on three remarkable initiatives nominated for the Accessibility Initiative of the Year award. Each of these projects have demonstrated an unwavering commitment to improving the lives of people with disability, showcasing innovation, determination, and a desire to foster inclusivity. The nominees for the Accessibility Initiative of the Year are Sage Automation, See-Me. Our first contender, the app See-Me by Sage Automation, addresses the pressing challenge of public transport accessibility. Conceived by Cassie Haynes, who, frustrated by being overlooked at her bus stop despite clear indicators of her need for assistance, developed this app that empowers individuals who are blind or with low vision in catching a bus. See Me allows users to request pickup and drop-off destinations along with necessary assistance, notifying bus drivers in real time to ensure no one is left behind. The second nomination is the Beach Access Working Group, run in partnership between City of Joondalup, Mullaloo Surf Lifesaving Club, and APM Communities. Next, we have the Beach Access Working Group, a combined collaborative effort between the City of Joondalup and APM Communities, Mullaloo Surf Lifesaving Club, Sorrento Surf Lifesaving Club, the Department of Transport, and Hillary's Boat Harbour. Initiated in 2019, this project emerged from a simple yet powerful idea, ensuring that everyone, regardless of physical ability, can enjoy the quintessential West Australian lifestyle of visiting the beach. Through advocacy, collaboration, and the implementation of practical solutions like matting, beach wheelchairs, and accessible facilities, this group has significantly increased beach accessibility in the northern suburbs. ABC Audio Description Group on ABC iView. Thirdly, the Audio Description Group on ABC iView takes centre stage, representing ABC iView's commitment to inclusivity. With over 2.1 million weekly users, ABC iView launched a groundbreaking initiative in 2023, introducing audio descriptions on its apps for iPhone, iPad, and Android. This development empowers users who are blind or with low vision to independently enjoy their favourite shows, fostering a more inclusive and accessible entertainment experience. These initiatives exemplify the spirit of the Accessibility Initiative of the Year Award, which celebrates projects that have endeavoured to make a meaningful impact on accessibility in various aspects of life. From public transport and community access to entertainment, these initiatives are making a significant difference. And the winner is Sage Automation CV. Please come and accept your award.
Bus stops, public transport. So, while it's in proof of concept trials at the moment, I'm hoping to get it rolled out across the public transport network so we can all catch public transport and not be left behind. Thank you to everyone that's supported me with this project. It's something that really means a lot to me, and to be standing up here is just incredible. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sage Automation. Thank you. So, today we have the privilege of recognising those who have not only championed the principles of inclusivity, but have also made enduring contributions to the field. Our Hall of Fame Award for the 2023 Australian Access Awards is a testament to their unwavering commitment. The nominees for the Hall of Fame are Vitya Vyakaramura. Firstly, let us acknowledge Vitya. Victoria's dedication extends beyond borders as she organises international speakers to showcase the latest advancements in digital accessibility. For 9 years, Victoria has been a driving force as the champion of the Perth Web Accessibility Camp. Through her tireless efforts, she has not only served as a committee representative, but has also played a pivotal role in the planning committee. Her work has not only empowered organisations, but has also contributed significantly to creating greater awareness through accessible content workshops. Dr. Liddy Neville. Next, we turn our attention to Liddy Neville, a true luminary in the realm of digital accessibility. In addition to being credited as the founder of the digital accessible movement in Australia, Liddy's several decades-long stewardship of Aussie Way brought countless individuals together, fostering a community commitment to accessibility. She has also actively contributed to a variety of international standards and has worked on DC and ISO standards for metadata and accessibility. Her legacy is one of collaboration and inclusivity, making her a worthy nominee to the Hall of Fame. David Wozniakis. David Wozniakis, our next nominee, boasts over 20 years of experience as a champion of digital accessibility. His involvement in various access and inclusion panels, including those for Perth Airport and the WA Electoral Commission, underscores his commitment to bringing about positive change. David's contributions to the Perth Web Accessibility Camp has been nothing short of exemplary. From encouraging growth to serving as Master of Ceremonies, he has harnessed talent and spearheaded accessibility projects. Dr. Vivienne Conway. And finally, we recognise Dr. Vivienne Conway, the founder of WebKey IT. Dr. Conway's PhD focused on website accessibility and her instrumental role in the National Transition Strategy for Website Accessibility has left an indelible mark. Her participation in W3C working groups and recognition from the Australian Library and Information Association attest to her influential presence. Dr. Conway continues to ensure that digital experiences are inclusive, providing auditing, training, and consulting services that resonate with the principles of accessibility. Due to the incredibly high calibre of this year's nominees, the judging panel have decided to have two winners. Accessibility Advocate of the Year is Richard. Please come and accept your award.
My mom was eyeing on me, indirectly asking me, did you prepare your acceptance speech? And I did not. So I am incredibly honored to receive this award. And thank you so much, Center for Accessibility, for giving me this award. I'm truly honored. And I'm also very, very privileged and lucky to have my family here. Who's my backbone. They're all sitting over there. And also to my CEO, Anna, who's been supporting me throughout my journey, and my colleague, David, who's also one of the finalists. Once again, thank you very much, everyone.
And the Accessibility Specialist of the Year is Dr. Liddy Neville. Please come and accept your award.
Gosh, I would like to actually take a minute if I may. I want to say thank you for the Welcome to Country, which I think is fabulous. And I'd like to put my respect for the elders, past, present, and emerging. And to tell you that this whole accessibility voyage actually had something to do with the trip to Arnhem Land to meet some of our colleagues up there. So that's very. I'd also like to thank the Centre for Accessibility, because I think it's an initiative which has really taken on the work that we started years ago in a way that I think is really special, and it's demonstrated tonight how successful and how important it is. So I think that's a fantastic thing you've done, all of you involved. I also want to point out that I'm actually not in formal clothing. My formal clothing is sitting on a rack in my house. But coming from Victoria, it took 3 airplanes to actually get one that would fly anywhere in 2 days. And I've got borrowed clothes on. But above all, I want to say that I think I'm here because I represent an incredible number of people. I think it's almost 30 years that I've been working on accessibility, but I haven't done it by myself. Things been done with different groups. And I'd just like to give a sense of how wide that groupage is. The W3C we all know, but actually incredibly important people in W3C have had all sorts of ideas. Most of you know about the WCAG, the requirements for content, but there are the authoring tools, there are all the other things that happen behind the scenes. I think I'd like to acknowledge Jim Miller, who is the person who actually got the money that started the whole way thing. We never hear about him. We hear about lots of other people, but he had the idea, and as an academic lent his reputation to be able to get a grant to do the work. Tim Berners-Lee had his first time on a video conference with us, so we think that was rather fun. And I think there have been a lot of people from W3C. And then from WAY, and it's the range of countries that we've worked with. The fact that I have colleagues that I've worked with from right across the world in all hemispheres, and they've done work that we're all getting the benefit from. I think there have been some incredible opportunities for students. We asked Jan Wild why she did accessibility one day, and she said, well, when I was young, there was a weird thing going on at school with advanced technologies, and I got inspired. And then the way of playing out being inspired was to do accessibility. So I think that we've seen some people take on some really interesting technical challenges as a result of having access as students to interesting things. I'd like to acknowledge a couple of people who have sadly passed away, and particularly Ed Smith, who was a wonderful mathematician at La Trobe University, who thought he'd help Jason White, who wanted to read a seminal text on maths logic, which we had to translate into MathML, and any of you who've tried making mathematics available to people on the web know that's some significant exercise to do. And Ed not only helped us do that, but he was a world expert in wave theories and converted all his mathematics into MathML, so that actually it turned out when he passed away, all his knowledge was still available to everyone. So that's quite significant. And there have been a lot of people in Australia who have helped us get along. So I really don't want to forget that. And to recognise that something we don't often know about is that we don't always get access to what other people are doing. And I think there's some very good examples of accessibility in particularly Norway at the moment, but it changes different countries. And I'd like to suggest to everyone, have a look at what's happening outside, because it's sometimes we could adopt it rather than try and reinvent it. But with those notes about all those people, I think I'm just continuing the theme of it's all about people, isn't it? People helping people. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Vidya and Liddy.
Thank you, Letitia. Okay, so I'd like to invite to the stage Jordan. Hang on a sec. See my notes. Jordan Steele-John. So Jordan is the Australian Senator for the Green Senator for Western Australia and a passionate disability rights advocate. Elected to the Senate at the age of 23, Jordan's goal is to challenge the boundaries of political norms, both in the Senate and within the community, to create a just and peaceful future for us all. He has represented Western Australia in the Senate since 2017. Welcome, Jordan.
Okay. Oh, yes. Hello. Well, I can tell you, in the 5 years I've done this job, this is the first time I've ever sat at a lectern. So I'm finding out I'm finding where they sell these and putting in an application for one. I can tell you that. Look, I want to start by acknowledging that we are gathered here on First Nations land on Noongar Whadjuk Budjer on the shores of the Derbarl Yarragon. Pay respects to elders past and present and acknowledge that sovereignty over this land was never ceded. Now, before I get to the fabulous awards for this evening, and I have the honour to present two of them this evening, App of the Year and Website of the Year. I know we're all on tenterhooks wondering who will walk away with the big ones. I just want to share with you what a delight, what a true joy it is to be back in this room for the third year in a row as part of this national event. To celebrate and to shine a light on this, the night of nights for accessibility in the tech space, and to acknowledge and celebrate the incredible work that has been showcased through this evening. I know that for many people in this room to get where you are tonight has taken a lot of work convincing, a lot of work getting budget applied to make projects a reality, a lot of time spent getting people to care. And I just wanted to share, as a disabled person, as an advocate, as a human being, that the work that is done by the people in this room is changing people's lives. It is not easy street to do this work. It is enabling people to do the best parts of living. Well, and also the bits that are a little bit painful. I mean, nobody will list paying your rates to the city of Cockburn as one of the best parts of living. But it is vital to receive the wonderful services provided by the city of Cockburn. For more, see the city of Cockburn's website. But it is the ability to simply go online and buy a gift for a loved one, to get your food, to be able to get the information that you need about your health care or about where you want to go tonight. These are the wonderful things made possible by the work done by every single human being in this room. And this has been a year together that we have shared that is a year of shining spotlights on areas where there is deeply needed change, deeply needed reform. And sharing a room with everybody this evening from your fabulous organizations gives me the hope and the knowledge that we will together achieve the reforms that are needed in the year to come as we shift from spotlighting the changes that are needed to making the changes that are needed. And part of that, I know so clearly, so many of you have shared with me, that we need to shift up the way that we create digital place and space from the beginning, because there is so much work still to do in achieving accessible and inclusive digital place and space. And it's not just the very many pages, again, of the City of Cockburn's website. It is so many apps that are brought onto the market, even today, that are inaccessible, that actually can't be navigated by disabled people and accessed in the way that we need to. There are laws and processes that need to be changed. And we can together achieve that change. So without further ado, let me move into announcing, which is it first? Is it app or website? We're doing app first. All right, fantastic. It is at this point in the evening, I feel like I should have had a list with the winner written on it. I feel like I'm missing that key piece of information as to who won. 1 second, let me just consult. I mean, oh, no. Oh, lovely. Ah, there we go. Seamless, seamless. The Oscars couldn't have done it better. All right. So we do app first. Excellent. None of you saw that. Was perfect. We can fix it in post. So it gives me the very great pleasure to present the Accessible App of the Year to this year's winner at the Australian Access Award. And the Bendigo Bank. Fabulous. All right. The Bendigo Bank. Superb. Well, I've never been prouder to be a Bendigo Bank customer. A pleasant surprise. All right, well, come up here, Bendigo Bank people. No, they're not here. Okay. Again, it's a video. Lovely. All right, play the video then.
Hi, Nick Carter again. What a awesome opportunity to receive another award tonight for the Accessibility App of the Year and the overall winner. So, not expected, but thank you so much. And I again want to reiterate that this really helps to put a spring in the step of our teams and a lot of the people that are doing an enormous amount of work across the organisation around accessibility and inclusion, diversity, and those types of critical ingredients that go into making a great organisation. And getting an award like this, or the second one for the night, is a fantastic evidence of the progress of that work. I know our groups and organisation at large will be wrapped with being able to receive this award, and it really will help us go into, I suppose, the end of 2023 with a real focus in 2024 on continuing to make a difference and making this critical area of focus a day-to-day event that we need to work on and think about, particularly when we're thinking about our people and how we support them moving forward. Big part of our organisation is clearly to help create the right environment where people can feel safe to do their work, can feel engaged so that they can be the best person they can be. And we as a broader organisation and the many communities that we serve continue to create that connection with our people and the communities. And we're just really proud of winning this award. So thank you very much to the Centre for Accessibility Australia. Thank you for your continued support. We are here as a partner and we will continue to do that. So thank you very much. And again, I hope you have a great night. Thank you.
Superb. Well, congratulations, Team Bendigo. And before I get on to the final award for this evening, let me say again, what a delight it has been to share the space with you at this national event. And I really, really hope that if you were nominated tonight, I hope that you feel a sense of real ownership and pride in that nomination. Own it, because it's an incredible thing to have been nominated for. If you've won tonight, go and tell everyone that you know about what you've won and why and how you achieved it together, because it is only through shining a light on the pathway to accessibility that we can support others to come along and encourage them to come along with us in that journey. And it's only by building those connections that we are able to show that pathway forward to reform and accessibility. And celebrate yourselves this evening. In fact, give yourselves a round of applause. Really, really excellent work that is appreciated by so many people. And with that said, I will move seamlessly into a bit of exciting information, a bit of an unusual outcome this evening. We have a tie for our final prize this evening, for our final award. We have a tie between Deaf Blind Information Australia and our good friends, the City of Cockburn. Wonderful. Right, so they'll come up to the stage and we'll have a fight to the death. No. Go up to the stage and accept your award, both of you together. Yeah, have a coding challenge to see who is the final winner. Oh dear.
I'll go first. Our spokesperson's left early, Sam. She's been along this journey right from the inception. This all started back in 2016 for the city with our very first Disability Access and Inclusion Plan, where we mandated the use of a consultant in developing our new website, the city's website. From that point onwards, it's been a very passionate team effort to get us to this stage. Now, with our website, it's all about not only making it accessible for people with disability, but we also value the making it accessible for the elderly, people with culturally linguistic challenges, also people with low literacy levels as well. So it's about not leaving anyone behind. I've heard that said before tonight. And hopefully this will provide some impetus and some motivation to keep going and making ourselves better. Just as an example, we're not perfect. I know we have lots of PDFs still on our websites. And one of the things is we know that screen readers aren't very good at reading those. So we're working at converting all those to HTML to make it even more accessible. So thank you very much.
Is there somebody from Deaf Blind Australia
Yes.
that wants to?
Congratulations, City of Cockburn. It's an honour to be a co-winner with you. As Senator Steele Jordan has said, there is still so much work to be done. We have learnt so much, but it just, the more we learn, the more we realise that we have to do. But it's great to be acknowledged for the work and the learning that we have done. And thank you, everyone.
It now says Jordan stays on central on stage for final photos as part of the award.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that means I just sit here
You can.
or I leave.
No, you can stay.
Okay,
So,
okay.
okay, so I'll wrap it up, everybody. So I'd like to thank obviously Scott for initiating and organising these awards for the third time in 4 years. I think it feels like 6 years because of that whole COVID thing. But anyway, Minister Punch, Senator Steele John, and all of our participants, judges, presenters, performers, nominees, finalists, and winners, of course. Thanks to Anzac House for hosting this event. And thanks as well to the organisers, volunteers, interpreters, data production technical team, and of course, the most important people, the caterers. So we're going to put up a slide with some of the, or with the sponsors. So obviously we wouldn't be able to do these events, as Scott said, without the sponsors. And they're provided by our silver sponsors, Able Docs, Coles, Office of the Digital Government, Department of Premier and Cabinet, and the Bray Family Trust. Through the Fremantle Foundation, our community sponsors, Visibility, Aussie Way, and ATSA. I would now like to invite all of the finalists and winners onto this not very big stage, but we'll make it work to take a photo. This is also the best opportunity to have photos taken in front of the media wall, which is down there, or this one here, depending which one you want, for all the attendees. Meanwhile, I would ask our guests to please enjoy some further drinkies and food downstairs on level 1 and stay and chat as long as you want. I think that's it. Okay. And apparently both you